Coming up, a full look at Africa at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Disney presents Beyond the Kingdoms. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's main show of Beyond the Kingdoms. I'm your host David, and today I'm launching the Exploring Animal Kingdom series. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and click on the bell icon so that you never miss a show. So without further ado, join me now on this trip to Africa at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Africa is a big highlight of Disney's Animal Kingdom, and it's located in the northwest corner of the park. This land features a plethora of food options, from Tusker House to Harambe Market, and a sprinkle of excellent snack locations. One of the park's main entertainment venues is also located in Africa, and hosts the fantastic Festival of the Lion King show. And of course, no trip to Animal Kingdom is complete without a trip on the Kilimanjaro safaris. All in all, this land features 7 dining locations, 6 entertainment offerings, 3 shops, and 2 main attractions. Right in the heart of Africa at Disney's Animal Kingdom is the merchant village of Harambe, which means pull together in Swahili. This is a fictional town that was inspired by several locations visited by Imagineers, mainly in Kenya and Tanzania. Harambe is an East African port town, and that's pretty obvious given all the details that you can see on the bridge. According to Disney, the story is that Harambe used to be a Dutch colony, but in 1961 a peaceful revolution took place and the citizens of Harambe declared independence from the Dutch. Harambe then became a self-governed town, and given its proximity to the African coast, it opened its doors for visitors from all around the world to visit. But as you know, I love to research and explore the architectural details in the parks and learn more about the real-life landmarks that inspired the Imagineers. And Harambe truly is a beautiful blend of several real African cities on the eastern coast. Some specific cities that inspired Disney's Harambe Village is Mombasa and Zanzibar City, and it's pretty clear by some of the buildings found in this area. But what makes this place unique is even though it's a fictional town, details such as all of the posters dotted around the village complete the story of Harambe. The village feels like a real, breathing place straight out of Africa. And one of the first buildings that may grab your attention is this section of the Burudika Hotel. In reality, this is part of the exterior of the Tusker House restaurant. But this little sliver of architecture is inspired by the old fort of Zanzibar. The real fort is located in Stone Town, which is in the older section of Zanzibar City. This capital city is located on the eastern coast of Tanzania, and it overlooks the Indian Ocean. The fort is one of the oldest standing buildings in Stone Town. It was built by the Arabs in 1699, after they expelled the Portuguese from the area. It was used as a prison and fort through the 19th century, and by the mid-1940s, it was used as a train station and part of the Zanzibar Railways. In the late 1990s, an amphitheater was added, which now plays host to an international film festival. But here at Disney, we get one little section of a larger building complex inspired by the fort's design. Another city that heavily influenced the design of Harambe is Mombasa, another coastline city, but this time in Kenya. On the opposite side of the same building complex I just mentioned, and closer to the actual entrance to Tusker House restaurant, we have this rounded minaret. This is very similar to another tower that is part of the Mandri Mosque that was founded in 1570 in the Old Town section of the city. Here at Disney, the tower is simply part of the restaurant's exterior, but the original in Kenya is a wonderful example of Swahili architecture because it shows the blending of Arabic styles with the geometric silhouettes of traditional African design. And just across the path, we have one of the more obvious architectural details in Harambe. The Harambe Theater is home to the fantastic Festival of the Lion King show. The building itself seems to be a complex of different things. There are signs advertising a mail center, for example, or even free Wi-Fi in several merchants. But if you look further back on the facade, you'll notice the yellow fortified walls. This design is directly pulled from Fort Jesus, located on Mombasa Island. The original fort played a crucial part in Western civilizations attempting to dominate the Indian Ocean trade routes. The fort was maintained by Portuguese colonists, but was actually designed by an Italian. And for over 2 centuries, various rulers and countries took over the fort. But by 1958, it was declared a historical monument of Kenya, and it's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Here at Animal Kingdom, the fort probably has a similar backstory to the original, but now that Harambe is under the ownership of the locals, it contains a beautiful display of Disney details, especially the intricately designed mural of Simba on the building's main exterior. Africa is one of the few sections of Animal Kingdom to offer a decent amount of shopping. With the exception of the park's hub, Discovery Island, most of the lands at this park only feature one main store. But here in Africa, there is a trio of stores and a few carts selling both unique items and standard Disney souvenirs. On top of the constant entertainment taking place in the main street of Harambe, there are a few other elements of streetmosphere that adds to the ambiance, like this wood carver. During the peak hours of the day, you'll almost always find someone carving a beautifully crafted staff. There are usually a few animal carvings for sale at the stalls nearby as well. And similar merchandise continues inside Mombasa Marketplace. Now, while there are technically 3 stores here in Harambe, they are all interconnected. Walking into one will take you through the other stores as well. Inside Mombasa Marketplace, you'll find the biggest collection of African-inspired products. And just next door, in Ziwani Traders, the merchandise lineup shifts into Disney souvenirs, mainly a collection of cute Lion King items. But my favorite store has got to be Zuri's Sweet Shop. This is the park's bakery. It's very similar to the confectionery store on Main Street at the Magic Kingdom. You've got your run-of-the-mill Disney candy here, and there are Mickey-shaped cookies and delicious fudge available. But what makes this bakery unique is the adorable collection of animal-inspired candy apples. One of my favorite items, only available here at Zuri's Sweet Shop, is the pineapple skewer. And if you want to know more about this and other must-try snacks in Africa, click the icon in the top right-hand corner now. That's where I have my 5 must-have snacks in this land. Now, on the other side of the bakery display, but still in the sweet shop, there's also a collection of cooking merchandise. Of course, you got Disney cookbooks and other accessories available here, but there's also spices available to purchase. In fact, these are the same ingredients used in the delicious plates of food over at Flame Tree Barbecue. But the most unique item for sale in this store is tucked away in the corner, and it's called a blessing basket. These woven baskets come in different sizes and are actually handmade by artists in Africa. Each basket includes a tag featuring a brief bio on the artist who made the basket. There are details on how you can contact and even become pen pals with the artist, and at the same time support a local artist from the region. This has got to be the most unique item for sale in the park and also contributes to a fantastic cause. Now, since we just talked about some food, let me tell you about all the dining opportunities here in Africa. Africa has both a quick service location at Harambe Market and a table service location at Tusker House. And in between is a decent collection of snack kiosks and a bar. Harambe Market is one of my favorite places to grab lunch at Animal Kingdom. First of all, the design and the details in this place is exquisite. There's a large collection of posters advertising other amenities in Harambe. There are obvious ones like the posters for the Festival of the Lion King show, and then there are more subtle ones, like this one advertising a repair shop. I also love to sit by the flea market section all the way in the back and watch the Wildlife Express train pass by as I enjoy my lunch. In terms of practicals, this dining location is open for lunch only. During busier times in the year, you may find that it's open for dinner as well, but in the last few months, I've been noticing that Harambe Market usually closes by 4 p.m. This restaurant has several windows to order from, which makes it a bit easier than most quick service locations. The menu is great if you're looking for a more interesting alternative to hamburgers and chicken fingers. But at the same time, it's not too exotic in that even picky eaters will enjoy something. There are great items like the pork sausages, served with naan bread, ribs, but the best item on the menu here is the beef and lamb hito. The meat is beautifully seasoned and it's really juicy, and you can top it off with a nice cold draft of beer. Harambe Market also offers the mobile food order service, and the pickup window is at one of the windows when you first enter the open-aired restaurant on your left. And here's an extra tip. Since Harambe Market is really popular, it sometimes is difficult to find a table. If it's really busy, just walk down the path towards Tamu Tamu Refreshments. Tucked behind the building is a small courtyard, offering several tables and some shade. This is a great hidden spot to enjoy some food. Now, earlier this week, I already mentioned a few snack locations in my must-have snacks video in Africa. You've got the rum Dole Whips at Tamu Tamu, nuts and popcorn at Mahindi right as you enter Africa, and corn on the cob at the Harambe Fruit Market. But one location that I left out in my foodie video is the Kusafiri Coffee Shop and Bakery. This is located on the left-hand side of the main street in Harambe, just before you hit Kilimanjaro Safaris. This is a really popular place early in the morning for some fresh coffee and pastries. And since I usually recommend animal lovers to try and grab a fast pass for the safari early in the morning, this can be a great stop for a quick breakfast before riding the attraction. And now for our premier dining location in Africa, and that is Tusker House Restaurant. This is the park's only character meal, and it's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And in the waiting area, you have the Dawa Bar. This is a great outdoor lounge to grab a drink before you head inside for a meal. And even if it's early in the morning, treat yourself and go ahead and get a nice Bloody Mary. Inside, the beautiful theming in Harambe continues, and the central buffet section is designed to look like an outdoor marketplace. This is a great place for those looking for a change from the standard Disney food. There are exotic flavors inspired by African dishes here, but even if you're picky, you will find something good on the menu. But of course, the main highlight here and what everyone comes for is the characters. And they are out meeting guests for all meals of the day. At this location, you usually get Donald, Daisy, and Mickey all in their safari outfits. Minnie is one of the biggies not featured at this location, but Goofy does make a regular appearance as well. This is a great alternative for those also who think that the price and chaos of Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary is just too much to handle. While this is still a popular place to book, the layout of the rooms make the experience much more enjoyable. And finally, I just want to add that Tusker House is one of the 2 restaurants to offer the Rivers of Light dining package. And this restaurant is the cheaper of the 2 options. Breakfast is $39 for adults and $24 for kids 3 to 9, which is a great deal when you consider that the normal price is only about $5 cheaper. For lunch and dinner, the dining package is $52 for adults and $32 for kids 3 to 9. Again, only a $5 upcharge from the normal pricing. If you purchase the dining package, you'll receive a pass to enter the theater after you've enjoyed your meal. The seating for dining package guests is located on the Dinoland side of the theater, close to the Finding Nemo show. And for those of you on the Disney dining plan, this dining package counts as 1 table service credit. So again, this is a great use of a credit when you consider reserved seating for a show is thrown in. And if you've only got 1 day in Animal Kingdom and you're trying to see everything, I highly recommend getting the dining package for Rivers of Light instead of a fast pass. The best combination is to book Flight of Passage for your Tier 1 Fast Pass, then Kilimanjaro's as a Tier 2 choice, and your third choice being whatever your family considers to be a priority. Kali River Rapids is a good choice in the summer months. And then, if you're planning to eat at a place like Tusker House anyway, The extra $5 to get the dining package is really worth it so that you don't have to worry about getting a seat for the show. Especially if the day you visit, there's only one performance of Rivers of Light. The show is pretty good in my book. I just think that the stress of trying to get a seat or a fast pass for it is not worth it. So go with this dining package if it's important to you. Now, while many guests flock to the safari or the animal trail here in Africa, others make sure they stop at the Harambee Theater to catch my personal favorite daytime show at Disney World, and that is the Festival of the Lion King. This show was originally located in Camp Mini Mickey, which of course is now where Pandora is located. But when the show moved to Africa, Imagineers designed a fantastic theater, a better one than the original in my book. And like I mentioned earlier, just looking at all of those details on the building's exterior is so much fun. But inside is truly a fantastic show. Sometimes performing up to 9 times a day, the cast of this show put on a terrific performance, and the theater and the round design makes it that there is no bad seat in the house. At the start of the show, some familiar characters drop in, like Timon, Pumbaa, and of course Simba, and then you're taken through a musical journey retelling the story of Simba and how he became king of Pride Rock. All the hit songs from the film are here, the best being Can You Feel the Love Tonight, with 2 aerialists taking to the sky. But what really makes this show fun and I think really popular is the audience participation. Every section of the theater is designated an animal, and at different points in the show, you get to act out your animal sounds. This is a great chance for the kids to get involved. Now, always make sure to check your times guide for performance times, but shows are currently running every hour on the hour between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Obviously, there are no height restrictions, so everyone can enjoy, and guests using a wheelchair or ECV will have their own designated areas to sit, and they can remain in those vehicles. This show does offer FastPass Plus, and it's part of Animal Kingdom's Tier 2 category, and I actually sometimes do use FastPass Plus here, especially when I'm traveling with my niece, who's too small to ride big things like Everest or Kali River Rapids. So if you find yourself skipping the big rides and traveling with the little one, make sure to book a FastPass Plus for the show, especially at high noon when you need a break from the sun. But Festival of the Lion King is not where the entertainment stops in Africa. In fact, this section of the park has some sort of streetmosphere entertainment running almost all day. There are musical acts like Burudika singing songs on a small stage in the middle of the street, and sometimes they trade off and the Karubi sisters take over and sing more traditional folk songs. There are also the Harambee Village acrobats who roll out their mat and perform stunts right in the middle of the street. Harambee is one of those places where there's a constant lineup of entertainment, and it brings an electrifying energy to this area of the park. The only downside is that the Harambee Wildlife Party, which started a few years ago, has just been cut. Just after the sun sets, most of the entertainment in this area is done for the night. And that's because most people head to Pandora or Rivers of Light. But that's why the daytime entertainment has become so good, because all of the entertainers have now got their own mini shows at some point in the day. Check your times guide if you want to see something specific, but the first bit of performances usually start at 9 a.m. and the last performance is usually around 7:30. And finally, I'm going to round out this episode by looking at the attractions in Africa. And of course, the main highlight is Kilimanjaro Safaris. This is not only the land's premier attraction, but it's a staple of the entire park. If Walt was still alive, I think he would have loved this attraction, because as many Disney fans know, Walt wanted live animals in the Jungle Cruise attraction over at Disneyland. But sadly, his brother Roy had to remind him that the cost and heavy maintenance required to take care of such animals was too much for them to handle. So when Imagineers first set out to build Animal Kingdom, they wanted to honor Walt's idea and take it even further. Now you can't miss the entrance to this, because it's right at the large baobab tree at the end of the street. The design of this entrance was directly inspired by a reception area to a safari lodge in Africa, woven around a similar tree. In fact, this thatched roof, along with many others seen here in Africa, were actually woven by a team of artists from South Africa. According to the book The Making of Animal Kingdom Theme Park by Melody Malmberg, the 13 men who worked on these roofs, quote, sang while they worked, after tying together thick bundles of bird grass harvested by their wives, sisters, and mothers back home. Some crew members tossed the bundles up to the roof, where others hand-stitched them with twine in traditional Zulu form. And the attraction itself is huge and it's very impressive. In fact, it is so big that all of the Magic Kingdom could fit inside the land of this one attraction. The story behind this ride is that guests are taken on a several-day trip onto the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Originally, the attraction's storyline featured on a strong message against poaching, and it had an Epcot vibe to it in that you were simultaneously being educated while being entertained. In recent years, that storyline has been scratched, and the message against poaching has been dialed back a bit. But you still see tons of animals along the way, like hippos, a close encounter with giraffes on the savannah, and a great look at a family of elephants. And just a few years ago, Disney began offering nighttime safaris as well, which is a fantastic time to see animals like the lions. My personal favorite time to ride is right before the sun goes down. Watching the sunset on the savannah is a magnificent sight to see. But it's best to avoid this attraction right in the middle of the day, when the sun is at its peak. I find that the animals tend to shy away to escape that intense heat. So riding first thing in the morning or anytime after 5 p.m. is a fantastic choice. Now, in terms of practicals, a lot of people can enjoy this ride. There is no height restriction, and believe me, the toddlers will love riding this. And a nice bonus here is that you can enter the queue with your strollers, and along the way, cast members will park your strollers for you in a designated area. Guests using a wheelchair can remain in that wheelchair while riding on the safari trucks, another great bonus. And if you're using an ECV, you just have to be able to transfer onto a wheelchair before boarding. And finally, FastPass Plus reservations are available and part of Animal Kingdom's Tier 2 category. Even though this attraction holds a lot of people and the standby wait is not too bad, I still think it's best to book a FastPass here. That way you can determine exactly what point in the day you want to ride. And if you're really looking to see some animals, do not skip the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. I can't tell you enough how many people just walk by this thing. After exiting the safari, you'll pass the entrance to the animal trail, which is conveniently located right by the stroller parking. So if you're with little ones obsessed with animals, consider doing both of these attractions back to back. It's best to ride the safari with the FastPass and then pick up your stroller and go through Gorilla Falls at your own pace. Of course, this animal trail features the majestic silverback gorillas, but it also features a few other really cool animals, like the naked mole rat, for instance. And there's a fantastic underwater view of the hippo pool. And who can skip the cute meerkats scurrying around their burrows? If you want to take a full guided tour of this animal trail and learn more, I'll leave a link in the description below for my full walkthrough video of Gorilla Falls. You'll learn plenty about these exciting animals. And with that, my friends, we are at the conclusion of my full tour exploring Africa at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Throughout this month, I will continue this Exploring Animal Kingdom series, and next week's episode will be a complete look at my personal favorite land at this park, and that is Asia. It has some wonderful details, and it's home to one of my all-time favorite attractions, Expedition Everest. And don't worry, there are plenty of videos to enjoy in between the Sunday main shows. Keep your eyes open for attraction videos, tips, and food reviews. And if you want to learn more about this park, I'll also include details to all the sources that I used to research for this episode. So until next time, remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.